Ah, woo! We fell down. Woo, can you hear that wind? It's a windy day today. Things are falling from the trees. All kinds of different leaves because the wind is very strong. I took a walk with my dog today and we found so many different kinds of leaves on our walk. Some of the leaves had lots of points and almost like arms on their leaves. Some of the leaves were kind of stripy. You see those lines there? And these little edge, kind of like little teeth. Some of the leaves seem to be made up of not just one leaf, but big leaves and little leaves. And some of the leaves were very strong purpley red color. Those had points too. I even found a leaf that was almost shaped like a heart, with a pointy end and coming around like that. I found some other things that I think came from trees too. I found some gumballs, and my picnic table is covered with these little things. What else did I find? I found this kind, which looks completely different from all of the rest of the leaves that I found. Do you know where these leaves came from? What kind of trees? Well, I thought it might be fun to go on a hunt. So, take a walk, find a leaf on the ground, and then look up around at the trees nearby and see if you can find a leaf that matches the leaf that you found on the ground. So it's kind of like a leaf hunt. Trees are so cool. Besides giving us shade and helping provide oxygen for us to breathe, there are many other things that come from trees. Wood to build our houses, to build our toys, comes from trees. You can take trees and smush them up into tiny pieces. And then, and stick them in water, and do you know what you can get from that? You can get paper. Paper for our paper bags, paper for our books. Here's some other things we can find from trees. Who likes maple syrup? Raise your hand. Well, that comes from trees, and I think that's the shape of a maple leaf right there on our bottle. Who likes cinnamon? Cinnamon comes from the bark of a tree. These cinnamon trees don't grow around here. It needs a much hotter climate. Lots of fruit comes from trees. Apples, oranges, pears, plums, so many different kinds. Most trees grow from seeds. Here's a maple seed. And if we go over to my garden, I think we'll see some maple trees starting to grow. When they fall from the ground like a helicopter, they dive in this wide part first, and they dig into the ground, and that's when they start to grow. I think I just weeded my garden, so I don't think I have any maple trees right now. But these will probably sprout in a few days and start some maple trees growing. But maples are big trees. You gotta be careful where you plant them. Acorns grow into oak trees. And I have some here that I saved from back in early April, and I put them in a pot, And you can see this one is about to start growing into an oak tree. When I was working in my garden, I was digging to plant some tomatoes, and I found a walnut buried in the ground, probably by a squirrel. Anyway, it was starting to grow into a tree, so I said, maybe I'll save that in a little pot so that my tomatoes can grow in my other pot and my oak tree can grow in this pot. But trees grow very, very big. I don't know if you can see this one from my neighbor's house. It is enormous. That's a big maple tree, and it's probably 100 feet high. And I tell you to be careful where you put your tree, because look at this tree in my backyard. This started 20 years ago as a tiny, tiny plant, and now it's growing and growing and growing and growing, as tall as my house now. And because it's springtime, you can see it's starting to grow its new shoots at the ends of its branches. This is an evergreen tree, a spruce. So be careful where you plant. Every year I say we're gonna have this as our Christmas tree, but guess what? I think it's too big to be my Christmas tree now. Here's another tree in my backyard. It's a wild cherry tree. Let's see if I can find the wild cherries that are just starting to grow. There's the, can't reach it, but they're just in bloom. And I don't know if you can see, they're tiny white flowers waiting for honeybees to come visit. And then the birds love to eat those cherries, once they are ripe. Here's another evergreen tree growing in my backyard. This one is a yew, and it has these bright green tips that show that it's growing and growing and growing. That's what trees like to do in the spring. They've gotten all rested during the winter, and they start to grow. Here's a holly tree. That's more like a shrub. A shrub is a small tree. It doesn't grow as tall as a big tree. But you can see this one is about to bloom. There's the buds right there. You gotta watch out though. They're very sharp on the edges. People like to, when they get the red berries, people like to decorate those around Christmas time. So here's my challenge for you today on this windy day. When you take a walk and see some fresh leaves on the sidewalk, pick them up. Take a look at the shape of that leaf. And then look around on your walk and see if you can find the tree that matches your leaf. But fresh leaves don't last very well. You can see these are already starting to look a little droopy. So if you want to save the shape of the leaf, here's a way you can do it. One way you can save the shape of your leaf is just to draw it. Look at the shape. Look where the little lines are. This one has a big line down the middle that takes it into two halves and has the little lines coming off the edges. This one has that cool edge that goes zigzag, 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 zigzag. And the lines coming off the middle are very straight and right next to each other. This one's a little trickier. It has a lot of points, but you can draw that. It also has those tiny little teeth along the edge. But here's another way you can save the shape of your leaf. Take your leaf gently off the branch, turn it over. You'll see that these long, strong lines stand out. You can feel them, they're raised up. Put it on a clipboard or a flat board. Tape it down so it doesn't move. Take a piece of paper, the thinner the better. Take a crayon. I'm gonna break my crayon in half because what I want to do is take the paper off Now, instead of using the point of the crayon, I'm going to use the side of the crayon. I'm going to hold my paper gently, or I can even tape my paper down so it doesn't move. And with the side of my crayon, I'm going to rub and get there. Isn't that amazing? I can see all the details of this cool leaf. Do you know what kind of leaf this is? Well, guess we'll have to go hunt and take the shape of this leaf and look at all the leaves around in my neighborhood and see if I can find one that matches the shape and the color of my leaf. Oh, you can find other things too besides leaves. What kind of tree did this one come from? And where did this come from? Happy hunting!